Yes, hi, I'm Kok Hong. Okay, I'm probably the odd one out here because I'm not a developer, I'm not an engineer. I'm a journalist by training, and I've done PR most of my career. So the last time I wrote a program was 22 years ago in Pascal. So that is really long. So I've returned everything to my teacher. So yeah, so I'm a bit of a layman here. So for this presentation on web accessibility, I will focus on the user experience, because I think most of us, I assume that most of us are able-bodied. I mean, mostly. So we won't have experience of knowing what surfing the web and accessing the web is like. I mean, if you have a disability. So and this document is screen reader friendly, and later I'll show you why it's screen reader friendly. I have a colleague who is she's completely blind. She is the personal assistant of my CEO. So yeah, she's the secretary. So she uses a lot of this fancy gear and stuff like that. So yeah, it really does work. So yeah. So okay, a bit more about me. That's my Twitter handle, by the way, which I haven't touched my Twitter account for very long, but never mind. Okay, I work for a non-profit in Singapore called SG and Able. So we provide referral services, we provide training services, and we provide job design services for people with disabilities. So we actually work with organizations to improve their hiring practices, redesign the physical environments, and maybe the hiring guidelines, recruitment. Don't say this, don't say that, and basically the full works. And I think of relevance to this community is we have an assistive technology center called Tech Able. I mean, I'm on the third floor, they're on the ground floor. Basically, we provide assessment services, because for most of assistive technology, every one of us is different. And usually you do need to have assessment with a therapist to assess, this tool is right for you, and to recommend technology and stuff like that. And if you want a grant from the government, you do need a piece of paper from a therapist. So yeah, so you can come here. And you can come and see many pieces of assistive technology you don't see anywhere else. Later I'll talk about this. This is Braille note taker. Yeah, later you can come and take a look. So yeah, I'll come back to this again later. So okay, anyway, my job there is basically I'm the content strategist. Basically I'm the in-house editor, journalist. I write stories, I commission stories, long form, video, Instagram, all sorts. Yeah. So I think in this particular case, I think I'll focus on HTML and the web. But in my work, I actually deal with videos. I mean, captions and then audio descriptors, if I had a budget to do it, and then and other things. Yeah. So yeah. So we'll be focusing on the desktop and notebook experience. If we have time, I can also show what it is like to be blind and use the iPhone. It's quite interesting, actually. Yeah. I'll be focusing on visual impairments. Yeah, partial and total. Of course, there are other aspects as well, but let's say if you are deaf, actually for deaf people, basically they can use the access to web like most of us, except they can't hear. So it deals with captions, and captioning is not really in the realm of coding and so on. So I'll be focusing on visual impairments. And what I talk about is largely is in the English language only. So let's say if it's in Chinese or if it's in Japanese, I don't know if what I'm talking about will really work. So if anyone here has experience in any other language than English, do share your experience. So so there are actually hardware and software aspects. What you see here, this is, I think it's roughly what I have here. This is what is known as a note taker. It's like this. So it's got it works. This is a full-fledged computer. I mean, it's like for us, we need a monitor on our notebook. This thing, everything is here. You have you type with Braille. Braille is it's a 2x4 matrix. I mean, it's like a domino. Yeah. So basically, you press these buttons and combinations. I don't know Braille, by the way, so I won't be able to say what the experience is. But you type here, and then in terms of outputs, either is by earphones, or you have this thing. This is called, if I'm not wrong, it's called the refreshable display. So basically, it will translate everything that's on screen onto Braille. So read line by line by line by line by line. So this is what it's like. So there are short ones and then there's long ones. Why are there short ones and long ones? Because you can read more with a long one. Simple as that, yeah. And no, it's no joke. I met I think she's the Secretary General of the World Deafblind Association. She's Japanese. I think it's Fukuda Ayako. Yes, Fukuda Ayako. So yeah, she's deaf and she's blind. She's on a motorized wheelchair, and she has two keyboards. A short one and a long one. And then she often jokes that when she has to read a lot, she loses her fingerprints because she does this, just back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And yeah, so this is the hardware. Yeah, it's quite interesting. You can take a look. And of course, visual impairments, it doesn't mean you are totally blind. You can also be a cataracts, whatever. Maybe you lose your peripheral vision or it's blurred and so on. So there are other things. Simple ones like this is the keyboard for the Mac. You can see it's high contrast. The letters are really big, so it sees clearly. And then so there are various tools, hardware that people with visual impairments use the computer. Yeah. Okay, in terms of software, I think most of us know. If you don't know, I'll explain now that. Thankfully, most of the modern operating systems now, they do have built-in accessibility features. Mac OS, iOS, Windows, yeah. So all of them have built-in features, and you can go online and look at the documentation. What I'm showing here now are the two most popular software for Windows. Yeah, JAW stands for Job Access for Work with Speech. Or something like that. Yeah, they love this kind of name. So it's been around for very long. And the other common software is called the NVDA, which is the non-visual display access or something like that. Yeah. So I'm told that JAWS works best with Internet Explorer and Chrome, while NVDA works better with Firefox. Something like that, yeah. Because of later I will actually show you some videos to explain how they actually use the software. So so for the first video I will show how blind people access, how they navigate websites with the JAWS software. Let's see. Okay.
One of the most common tasks on a computer today is navigating a website. So it is no surprise that JAWS has a variety of commands designed specifically to help the user move around a web page efficiently. In this video, we will demonstrate some of the most common commands and techniques a JAWS user might employ to find their way around a web page. To understand how navigating a web page with a screen reader works, we must first understand the common elements that make up a web page. A web page can be made of several different elements, which include headings, body text, links, graphics, frames, form elements, and more. Let's focus on two of the most common elements, headings and links. Headings are visually represented by large-sized text and serve as titles or subtitles to various sections of a web page. For example, this Wikipedia article on World War II breaks up the article with headings like chronology, background, and pre-war events. Links are the backbone of the internet. They help you move from one web page to another, and in some cases, from one section of a web page to another. Looking again at the Wikipedia article on World War II, you'll find links to various other related articles throughout the page. Selecting one of these links will take you to the relevant information, whether it be a new web page or a different section on the same page. Now let's see how we can use headings and links to quickly move through this very large Wikipedia page. With the web page fully loaded, we can simply press the H key on the keyboard to move to the first heading on the page. World War II heading level 1. Each time we press the H key, JAWS will move to the following heading. Contents heading level 2. Chronology heading level 2. Background heading level 2. Notice how it says heading level 1, 2, 3, through 6. The heading levels can be used by the web developer to express the importance of a heading or signify if a heading is part of a subgroup. Think of heading level 1 as a title and heading level 2 as a subtitle, and so on. Once you find the heading you are interested in, you can navigate through the body of the text using the arrow keys or the numpad as you would a written document.
3-war events heading level 2. Heading level 3 Italian invasion of Ethiopia left parent 1935 right parent. Main article : link second title Abyssinian War. Link graphic Soldani Ethiopia.jpg/330px Soldani Ethiopia.
Optionally, you can have JAWS pull a listing of all the headings on the web page by pressing Insert plus F6.
Heading list dialog. Headings list view. World War II: 1 to 40. To move the items, use the arrow keys.
You'll be presented with a list of all the web page's headings, and you can navigate with up and down arrow keys to move through the list. When you find a heading you are interested in, press Enter to move to that section of the web page.
Contents: 2. Chronology: 2. Enter. Heading level 2 Chronology. World War II Wikipedia. The Free Encyclopedia. Chronology heading level 2.
Pressing Insert plus F6 again will bring the headings list back up, and you'll be placed at the current heading you were navigating through in the list.
Heading list dialog.
Okay, I'll stop here. Let's see. Yeah. So yeah, that is how you navigate the software. So for the next video, I will show you how the New York Times homepage actually sounds like. Yeah, and it'll be interesting to hear from you. It's not a perfect experience. There's something inaccessible about the New York Times website, so you can tell me which is the part that was working properly and which is the part that's not working properly. Yeah, it's not all bad. Yeah. Let's see. New York Times.
Breaking news, world news and multimedia window, sections button, search button, internal link, list one item, link, and with list, login button, settings button, list new item US, link, and with list, front heading, list one item, Thursday, link, and with meeting, list 12, link, and with list, with landmark entry, landmark, frame 2, heading level 2, top news, heading level 2 link, U.S. Attorney World's Global on Ethics Investigation, by Suzanne Craig, Thomas Kaplan, and William K. Matchlock. The letter from the prosecutor investigating Governor Andrew Cuomo's cancellation of his own anti-corruption commission came after members of the panel publicly defended the governor's handling of the commission. Link, 144 comments, heading level 2 link, Netanyahu.
Okay, I just stop here. So, okay, I'll just give away the conclusion to say that this website is partially inaccessible. Can someone tell me which is the part that is not accessible? Okay, never mind.
The links that just say link.
Exactly, it's the link. So even at the top, U.S. International 中文 which is Chinese. US it was read out. International became link. 中文 became link. And it was link. I don't exactly know why. Maybe it's because those are images. So and there's no alt text. So I think it's link or blank or something like that. So yeah, so link text is very important. Alt text is very important. But this part works well. I mean, yeah. So they read the header and blah 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 and so on. So I think you might be realizing that this is really a really tedious way of reading a website. So yeah, and it is. So which is why just now in the video, actually blind people they have much more efficient ways of reading the website. I'm sure you've heard of the saying that on the web people don't read, they scan. Yeah. So it goes double or triple for blind people. I think what you saw just now was in the menu. So what they do is actually they say all level 1 headers, and then they read all the okay, there's only one, and say all level 2 headers, and then they'll read one by one and they'll say, read to me all the links, and then they actually go through the website and read all the links. So which is why if you have a website that has many links called click here, the website will be full of click here, click here, click here, click here, click here. So it's not accessible. You have no idea what is behind that link. So it is important to word your links properly. Yeah. And the other thing is that it's pretty amazing that blind people, at least the ones I know, I can't speak for everyone, but my colleague reads the web very fast. It's like she always has the earphones on. I mean, I have to tap on the shoulder to get attention, otherwise she's always on the earphones. And then I'm not sure how many words she reads per minute, but it's really fast. So it's like, so I have to ask, like, what did the program just say? Then she has to slow it down, and what you hear just now. So normally it's not read that way. It's read really fast, and they scan. They don't read from top to bottom. This homepage will take forever to read. So that is the experience of blind users. Let's see. Shall I go through this? Okay, this is a quick one. So this is the iPhone. It's a bit of an old model, but I think you can guess how. Well, by the way, my colleague uses Facebook, WhatsApp, and then all sorts. Yeah, it's quite interesting to see her use the iPhone. Yeah. So anyway,
I'm going to put my finger near the top of the web page.
Professional Fridays, 08/09/2013, heading level 2.
So that is a heading. I can, again, I can just move my finger around the screen just like I have been everywhere else.
Hosted by. We've got a bunch of special guests joining us as we cure the world's ills. Download. HP. Red. High. Low. Latest. Comment button. Latest video.
Or I can flick like I'm doing right now.
72 comments. Red. 2, 3, 0, 0, 7, 7, 9, 8.
So that's an image.
yeah, I'll just stop here. So, okay, accessing the web on the mobile phone is quite different from desktop. It's mostly gesture controlled. So how you toggle through the various elements on the website is swiping left, swiping right. I think if you want to go through a link, you double tap or something like that. So everything is gesture controlled. Of course, I don't know how to use the website using these features. I think none of us can, because it's a pretty extensive set of gestures, and also interesting thing is what everyone tells me is that they are really afraid of OS upgrades. In fact, they delay it for as long as possible, because once you install a new OS, you can imagine for us we have a lot of inconvenience when we upgrade the OS. For the blind, it's like they're completely locked out. They cannot check the mail, they cannot read anything, they cannot watch videos. They're completely blocked out. So it can be quite traumatizing when they upgrade the OS. So yeah, this is part of their experience with software. So it's a trade-off. Devices have become more accessible, but the impact is like that. So I'll resume the presentation. Okay, now I will go into the coding. As I mentioned, I am not a coder, but this much I can share. Header hierarchy is important. I think I assume that everyone here knows the W3C standards, all the way from So when I was learning HTML, way back in university, I was always struggling with like, why can't I skip header levels? I mean, why can't header 1? I can just jump to H3, right? Why do I have a H2 in the middle and stuff like that? The reason is what I talked about, how blind users use the web. They say they get the software to read all level 2 headers and all level 3 headers. So the thing is that if we skip header levels semantically, they'll be disoriented. So it is very important that we think. Basically, if you think of the website as without CSS, if you think of the website without CSS, it's just plain text. Basically, that's what they experience, and that is how we think. I mean, to me, I find that a useful way to think about how a blind person accesses a website. Second thing is, when possible, place the distinguishing information of a paragraph in the first sentence. This might sound very similar, if you're a journalist, to the inverted pyramid. The first paragraph is the facts of the news, and then so on and so forth. So in accessibility, what this means is that when reading the first paragraph, you roughly know the context for the rest of the stuff. So it just makes good sense. This is not coding, this is content, but it makes good sense. There are also things like global versus local language markup. I mean, for sighted people, I mean, it doesn't really matter. But for screen readers, it does make sense because you can mark the whole document as in one language, but you can mark out specific parts in a different language. But if you mark incorrectly, the screen reader would read gibberish. There's a website where I can show the example, but yeah, it basically reads gibberish. So yeah, links should make sense when read out of context. So like I said, click here is evil. Okay, there's a few standards where web accessibility is concerned. One is the, I can't remember what it stands for, it's WCAG. I believe now it's the second version, WCAG 2.0. And the other one is the ARIA. ARIA is, I can't remember. Damn. Okay, basically ARIA is a set of additional markup. Basically, it lays on top of HTML. You will mark out things like, okay, this row of boxes is navigation. This part of it is is text. This part is media, and so on. So one of the challenges I have, I mean, as a content strategist, is that basically there are no vendors. Tell me if there is, but as far as I know, there are no vendors in Singapore who can implement ARIA on the websites that I run. So, and the worst part about ARIA is that it's very convenient when you implement it correctly. If you implement it incorrectly, it is even worse than if you had not implemented it at all. So, so basic thing is if website is standards compliant, actually it's okay. I mean, it will be mostly accessible already. So on top of that, you can lay on ARIA. But if you don't understand ARIA, please don't do it, and it'll make it worse. Yeah. So okay, how screen readers interpret web pages? Screen readers, they have these settings called verbosity. So for example, if my colleague sets the screen reader to at the most verbose level, her emails will read like greater than, greater than, greater than, greater than, greater than, greater than, hi Mary, greater than, greater than, greater than, greater than, greater than, greater than. Yeah, so it will read every single thing, spaces, punctuation, whatever, everything. It's the most verbose mode. On the other hand, you can skip most of these things, which is what she does to save her sanity. So yeah, so basically and the thing is that it's pre-programmed, so it's supposed to detect the differences between acronyms and abbreviations and initialisms. If you don't know what that is, yeah, go and look it up. So interestingly, it will read SQL as SQL, but when it's URL, it says a URL. Yeah, so it is smart enough in some sense. Something that I came across when I had to set up the shuttle bus schedule for my website is that things like this, very weird. Let's see. No, this is the old version. Okay, this is incorrect. Okay. Yeah, so this is incorrect. Actually, I amended it. So whether you use colon or dots, it will still say 8. Never mind. I will actually pull out the latest version because that is wrong. Let's see, where do I go? Okay, never mind. I think I lost the information. But anyway, okay, there's a lot of unusual behaviors. Like for example, 8:00 a.m. it will be they read 8 o'clock, but then if there's 14:00 a.m. it reads as 1400 hours or something. There are a lot of quirks in how it interprets the code. So and you never know until you actually test it. So the lesson is that you really have to test everything because you never know how the screen reader interprets things. And yeah, I will go into alt text. Oh, this is the correct one, sorry. So yeah, 08:00 is 8 o'clock. So if you replace the colon with the dots, yes, it will still be 8 o'clock. But 1400 is, yeah, they read this as 1400, and then if it's 08:00 hours, it's 08:00 HRS. Yeah. So yeah, so you do have to be careful with abbreviations and stuff like that. Yeah, there are, okay, I do not know if there are blind developers, but I know there's deaf developers. So okay, never mind, digression. Yeah, I'm sure you have seen this joke before. This is about the Oxford grammar. If you Oxford comma, if you don't know what the Oxford comma is, basically it's in a list. There's a comma before the last item at end. So I won't go into English lesson, but basically this also explains what the experience is with screen readers. So let's say the screen reader is set to not read out punctuation. It's just pause. So if it's set to read pause, that means it says we invited the strippers, JFK and Stalin. But if it's verbose, it will be we invited the strippers, comma, JFK and Stalin, dot. So yeah, so you do have to think I have to think about these kind of things. Yeah. So now come to alt text. Alt text is the one where a lot of people have opinions. You must always put it in, you shouldn't put it in. I would say a lot of it depends on the context. So in this case, there's no right answer. What will you put as the alt text? Image of Halimah Yacob, the first female president of the Republic of Singapore, or do you put it blank? So the answer is it depends on the context. If you need to give additional context to the blind reader, then yes, you have to put information. But if it serves to confuse them, then don't put it. So we don't do it these days, but in the old days we used to put separators. We used images separators. So there'll be like blah blah blah, separator, blah blah, separator. So it's like it bugs the hell out of the reader. So whether to put in an alt text depends on the context. Oh, that reminds me. This slide is screen reader friendly because photo of Halimah Yacob. Yeah, so this is how my blind colleague read this image. So yeah, it can be done on Microsoft Word and PowerPoint too. So I'll show you a piece of work from my website. This is a picture from our multimedia lab. So this group, they are from the BIM Studios. BIM Studios is basically is a group of people with mostly physical disabilities. They are employed there as draftsmen. So they use AutoCAD to do architectural drawings and stuff like that. So this is part of their training. So we did a story on that. And for the captions, you can see that the caption is actually slightly different. For the caption, the part that is visible, what we sighted users see, I just write the normal way. Students at BIM Studio work on blah 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 blah. But for the alt text, I write photo of students assembling at the common work desk of the multimedia lab to study an architectural drawing projected on the screen. So it's a bit different. I used to think that what's the difference? I just use the same text for alt text and caption, right? Should it always be the same? The answer is it depends. So this is an example of how it differs. Yeah, I know it's not coding, but this is accessibility. So, preliminary question to me. So whose job is this? Is accessibility the developer's job? Is it the content strategist's job? So again, I think it really depends. Basically my website is like a news website in a sense. I run stories regularly. I have a story every week. So I guess in that case it would be my job. But if I do a website for a campaign, it's going to be up for 3 months. There'll be no new updates, or maybe it's just one small box with updates. Then maybe a developer can do it. But I think I don't want to go into the cliche of accessibility is everybody's job. But I do think that everybody needs to know a bit about it to make websites accessible. Yeah. So the other challenge is that people often ask me, so if accessibility is so important to website design, why isn't there any rules to make it compulsory in Singapore? So anyone here working for the government? the IDA, the IMDA, nope, yeah, okay, yeah, so I can say whatever I want. So, yeah, so, in the old days, I used to work in the government, by the way, so I know, it was under the purview of the Infocom Development Authority of Singapore, or IDA. So they had something called the Web Interface Standards, and as part of the Web Interface Standards, they incorporated WCAG 2.0. And after I joined SG Enable, to my surprise, I found out that that part about accessibility was not written by a civil servant. It was written by one of my co-workers downstairs, and gave them wholesale, and then they put it in without any acknowledgement. Yeah. So oh, by the way, I should talk about some of the websites I've done. I was the project manager for the Ministry of Manpower websites that didn't have any accessibility in it. Later, I joined advertising company Wonderman. Yeah, Wonderman. So I worked on the e-citizen websites. Yeah, if you want to laugh, yeah, go ahead. Yeah, but anyway, I worked on e-citizen websites, and because the client was IDA. So because it's IDA, so they feel obliged to make the website accessible. So but I was one calling on the shots. I mean, they had no way of telling whether I was implementing it right or wrong. I mean, just as if I written in Tamil, there's no one in the team who's writing in Tamil, so it's like there's no check. Basically, I'm the one who did everything. So that was then. Right now, as you may or may not know, IDA has been restructured. So now there's GovTech, and then there is the Infocom Media and Development Authority, which has a program called the Digital Inclusion Program, which doesn't cover this, as far as I know. So literally no one is looking at this. I mean, my office, I mean, we are paid by the government to run disability programs and services. It's not under our purview. So as far as I know, it's not under anyone's purview. In the US, there's the Disabilities Act. I think Access for Persons with Disabilities Act, the ADA or something like that. I think in the UK and in Australia and New Zealand there are other rules. Maybe you can fill me in on this after the presentation. Because there are laws, so certain websites or other users have the right to demand that businesses' websites be accessible. And because of that, there are businesses that offer consultancy to make websites accessible. But here, because there are no laws, so there's no market. Because no market, so even if I wanted to start my own company to do accessibility for websites, there's no market because there's no requirements. Yeah, maybe we can talk about this after the presentation. So that's the situation in Singapore. The third challenge is that we really need. I mean, it's a truism, but we really need users to test the product. So you may have wondered how come I didn't just install a screen reader on this computer, and the answer is that because I do not know how to use it. It's quite specialized, and in order to test all these things, I had to beg my colleague's time. She's not a user. She is my CEO's personal assistant, so I had to beg her time to test all things out. So but the thing is that not every company has the luxury of this. So and it's really hard to test for accessibility for the blind because we are not blind users, so we really don't know how they experience it. So it really is a challenge. Yes, there are automated suites for testing accessibility to a certain extent. I think they can test for contrast because certain people cannot see contrast. They can test for contrast. They can test for whether your YouTube. No, by the way, YouTube is not fully accessible, by the way, because videos need to have full captions. Yeah, and so, but they don't test everything. So ultimately, you need a human, and that's a challenge in my work because I don't have. It's very hard to find humans to test the websites. Yeah. So, yep, helpful links. I think WebAIM is a consultancy. I can't remember if it's based in Canada or the US, but they have a lot of good articles about designing for screen readers. And then Mozilla, yeah, as usual, they have guides for accessibility and design with ARIA. All the major software companies, they have accessibility guidelines, not just for the web, but for software design, which is not my area. Designing apps for native apps for mobile. And yeah, this is the website of the co-working space. Yeah, we have Tech-Able has a co-working space. Yeah, so if you are working on any project that is disability related, technically you can go there and ask for a post box, and then you can go there and work and find like-minded people to, I think Engineering Good is based in Tech Able, by the way, if you know those guys. Yeah, so do you want to see the Apple ad? Okay. Yeah, this is not coding, but it's interesting to see this, I think. Okay. The Apple website and Apple TV itself, most of the media has been adapted for accessibility. So that sounds like it sounds like a plug for Apple, but that's a fact. So if you go to the website and your browser has I think audio descriptors turned on, that means for the deaf, you actually get a different version of any video on Apple TV on the Apple website, and it sounds like this.
In a kitchen, we move to an open bedroom door. In the bedroom, Sadie Paulson is reflected in a mirror. A caregiver brushes her hair, then helps her into a blouse.
People think that having a disability is a barrier.
Sadie sits at a desk working with an iMac. She moves her head to operate switches on her headrest.
But that's not the way I see it.
Now, a young man uses sign language on a FaceTime call.
You can catch up with friends.
A young woman signs back. Now a family picnic.
You can capture a moment with your family.
One face. Small face. Focus lock.
A blind man takes a photo with an iPhone.
And you can start the day bright and early.
A woman lies in bed using an iPhone app to open motorized curtains and turn on her lights. She lowers herself into a wheelchair.
You can take a trip to somewhere new.
A man hikes with friends. Now a close-up of his hearing aid. He stops to select the outdoor setting on his iPhone.
3 miles to the summit.
A boy reads a book on an iPad in class.
You can concentrate on every word of the story.
A bird began to sing. Jack opened his eyes.
An athlete starts outdoor wheelchair workout on her Apple Watch.
You can take the long way home.
A beach at sunset. The athlete pushes her wheelchair aggressively down a paved path, quickly gaining speed.
Yeah. I'll just stop here. So, okay, this is an example of a fully accessible video. If you're blind, it reads to you everything that's happening on the screen, on top of the narration. So there is narration, and then there is the actual description of what's going on the screen. And then if you're deaf, then of course there's the usual closed captions. So this is a fully accessible video, and which means that basically there are two videos. There's one for us and there's one for them. So that is that's what full accessibility means. So it does cost resources. Even I don't do this kind of thing. All I do is closed captioning. I don't actually commission a second one with the whole screenplay written out. Yeah. So that is the end of my presentation. Any questions? I hope I can answer.
Actually, just a point out, I'm wondering whether there are blind developers, programmers. There are. There's a local startup called Momo Central, so they actually hire.
Yes. Yeah.
Correct. So they actually hire a blind coder.
Okay.
So it's a platform for freelance designers and developers. So actually they have a blind coder, and this blind coder was actually hired by one of the local startups, and now he's having a full permanent job there. So with coding, actually everything is quite fast. In fact, it's better than the average developer. But when it comes to things like laying out graphics, right, he needs guidance.
Yeah. I did share that story on social media before, but thanks for reminding me. Actually, I can send my writer to interview him. Hopefully, he will agree. Yeah. But anyways, yeah, that was an interesting story. Yeah. Thanks for bringing it up. Any
questions?
Yeah. Any Australians, Americans, New Zealanders? Nope.
How did you get started in this space? Did you have a personal interest into it, or just the CEOs? Yeah.
Okay. It's largely by accident. I mean, not just for accessibility, but I think content strategy in general. It was something I stumbled in. I've done journalism and PR, but then I've always had one foot in the web. Yeah. So all the web projects ended on my lap. And then when it came to the eCitizen project, the client was IDA, and then they say they wanted it fully accessible, so we had implemented. So, and that was when I realized that actually they have no way of auditing me. And which means that they also have no way of auditing all other government websites, even though the rule says that they must be accessible. So whether they're accessible or not, nobody really knows. I mean, of course you get a few people complaining, but you know. Yeah, so, but it is some, I wouldn't say the work is crushing. The work is, once you establish the norms, you know, you just make sure you fill in the alt text of images or whatever. So it just becomes natural, yeah, but it needs to start somewhere, yeah. So, and I don't know, if I change jobs, I probably may not do this again because there's no one for me to pass it to, because accessibility, yeah, my organization doesn't have anyone overseeing accessibility and UX. Yeah, so basically it's just me. Yeah.
So we can start a meetup group and gather individuals.
Okay, yeah, I'll be curious. You can tweet me. I mean, you can contact me and let me know what other projects there are, because I'm not aware of any. Yeah, I'm not aware of any. I know I've seen a few websites that are accessible, but yeah, that's about it. I don't really know who's behind it and stuff like that. Yeah. Okay.
More questions? Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.